So we've seen more dead animals in headlines than I ever thought we would during a presidential campaign. And it looks like the latest roadkill is RFK Jr.'s entire campaign.
Yep.
So last week we had RFK officially drop out and, shocker, endorse Donald Trump. What was your reaction to this news? Is this a surprise? How are you feeling about it?
So RFK Jr. dropped out during the DNC, I think in part to give this like spike to attention because what we know is that Donald Trump cannot stand not being the center of attention. And the DNC by ratings did better than the RNC every single day. Not only that, but this is giving weirdo behavior on so many levels. RFK Jr. joined Donald Trump on stage at his rally here in my home state of Arizona just shortly after dropping out to endorse him, to give him whatever boost. And not only that, but they did it at the same venue, the same arena that Kamala Harris just recently had her 15,000 plus person rally that his supporters were calling AI generated, that they were falsely claiming filled by paid actors.
That's
Oh
right.
my God.
Absolutely conspiratorial. My reaction to that is why in my home state?
Right.
Why in Arizona? Pack it up. We don't want it here. Take it somewhere else. And also, like, weird, weird and loser vibes. I just think it really shows what we know to be true about Donald Trump, which is that he loves nothing more than to be in the spotlight.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the video was leaked by RFK's campaign where he like asked Trump, if I drop out and endorse you, will you give me a cabinet position? Which was like straight from Secession, like a parody of how a presidential campaign should be run. And it looks like it's playing out in real time for us now.
Yeah, I think that that's spot on. I mean, it feels like RFK's whole campaign was a fire sale from start to finish, right? From like giving away his VP slot to one of his biggest donors to backing positions, sort of flip flopping all over the place. He was always funded by the same people who funded Donald Trump. Timothy Mellon is the single biggest donor to both of them because this was always sort of a joint effort. Either as a useful idiot or a willing participant, he was always part of the Trump election strategy. And so to have them finally merge into like a mega boss weirdo, I guess at least is helpful for the people to see. And we can disabuse ourselves of the notion that this was some sort of like grassroots movement for a third party, like it's been made out to be.
Right. I will say the Kennedy family is continuing to distance themselves. They said, our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear. It is a sad ending to a sad story. Close book. Yikes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Brutal. Brutal.
Deja, you said something about the paywalls and how most people are getting their news and information online.
Yeah.
The whalehead story, which is also in reference to Brian, your earlier carnage roadkill comment. He like took a head off a whale and put it on the roof of the car. And okay, not to add to layers to this lore, but Kick, his daughter, who's now apparently dating Ben Affleck, I don't know if you knew this. Yeah, cheated on J-Lo with Kick Kennedy.
Tea.
Anyway, this story broke on the internet 3 days ago, and only today did it hit legacy media, and guess what? There's a paywall.
Classic.
So just saying,
Just saying.
the internet is breaking the news stories around RFK Jr. and always has been.
I would flag moving forward. The data so far shows that RFK dropping out and endorsing isn't having a huge impact on the state of the race. But what does have a huge impact is if RFK has been promised a cabinet position. Do either of you have like what's our worst nightmare scenario for cabinet position for RFK?
Okay, two things. One, I would say EPA, but then I know the EPA will not exist in a second Trump presidency.
Right.
And then I think he would be like Health and Human Services, and he's so anti-vax.
Right.
It's like, ooh, we don't want that.
I think HHS is the nightmare pick.
The nightmare blunt rotation is RFK Jr. as head of HHS.
Hopefully we never find out because they're not going to tell us unless he wins.
Also, quickly, Brian, he had about 5% of the voters, right? So, what do we think is going to happen there? Are they going to go with Trump? Or are they going to be like, I don't know what's up?
It's super varied by state. Like Georgia, for example, had a higher RFK percentage than some of the blue wall states like Pennsylvania or Michigan. They are the least enthused to vote, are the RFK voters compared to Harris or Trump supporters. And so a lot of them are just going to sort of just drop off is the expectation. But Harris did get a boost and RFK got a drop after the switch from Biden to Harris. And so she had already pulled a significant number of those voters in. I think some chunk of the remainder will go to Trump and some of them will go to Harris. But like overall, it doesn't seem to be affecting sort of the 4.3 point margin in most of these states.